All right. Welcome to Shit Talk episode 10. Just first off, want to say hello. It's been a while. We actually had a very busy past 2 weeks, just doing a lot of stuff all over the place. So we're very thankful to be able to get back in the studio and start doing some more recordings. But as everything kind of progresses, there will be some sad news here. I will be getting into at the end of the episode. But first things first, I want to say hello to Jeremiah.
Good evening.
And then we actually have a new guy here. His name is Crosh, but everybody just calls him Crash.
Hello.
So since Crash is actually new, I'm just going to have him talk about himself here real quick, just for a couple.
Talk about myself?
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Was in IT before I came here to Tactical Shit. Been doing that for a couple of years. Spent 6 years in the Army, kind of a split time in. I did a few years with the 82nd back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then got out for 15 years, and then after 9/11, got back in. Did all that in the infantry, and then got back out again in 08 and been out ever since.
So before you came here, you were at TacticalSht.
Dude, you were on it.
All right. So the first topic we're actually going to be getting into is something that is currently happening, as we can all really kind of have a really strong understanding, especially with working in the industry, is the fact that there is a lot of government overreach in the gun community. And with the gun community, we always feel like we're the blunt end of the rights. Why is it, the First Amendment rights are usually protected? There's a few things that people kind of talk about, well, that doesn't seem fair, and you're absolutely right. It's something that you can work on, and 95% of that time, you can actually get those rights back. However, with gun rights and the Second Amendment rights, usually it's an uphill battle every single step. And they always focus on it, no matter what happens. Someone finds a way to twist it around and turn it into a gun fight. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, what do you guys think is necessary or possible for us as the gun community in order to entice and invite more people to become pro-gun advocates? Either, what do you think we can do in order to do that?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is just educating people on it, because honestly, everybody knows what a gun is.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody knows how guns function, or even the process to go through it, because one of the biggest things that I hear when talking to somebody who is anti-gun, they say, well, we need to have background checks. We do.
We do.
Mm-hmm. So step one of firearms, people already aren't educated on.
Yeah, they're ignorant.
So
I'll just turn that volume down.
But as I was saying, I think that more just simple conversations with people who are anti-gun need to happen. Like, look at all the Louder with Crowder videos. He actually did a video where he took two girls who were anti-2A and pert near changed their minds. Like, one of them said that she wanted to own a gun, but she wasn't 21 yet, so she couldn't own a handgun.
Mm-hmm.
So I think simple stuff like that is...
AR.
Yeah, get her a rifle.
But I think just simple stuff like that, educating people on firearms and explaining it's not some Death Star thing that's going to end the world, and understanding that guns don't kill people, people kill people.
Yeah.
I can do just as much damage with a hammer.
Women are a huge audience and market when it comes to new gun owners, especially. But like Jeremiah just said, they're ignorant, they're scared, how many of these women out there have been their significant others who think they know guns and know how to shoot guns or know how to instruct someone to shoot guns, have tried to teach these ladies how to shoot, and probably most likely 90% of the time doesn't go well. We had a class when I used to work at UD with Alex and Ben that we had a ladies' night. On Thursday night. They could come in, and their significant others were not allowed. Drop them off, whatever, let them go. And by the time we got done with them after a couple of hours, a lot of the ladies that were apprehensive were sold. And hell, most of them probably went back and could outshoot their significant others after that school, after that class. But and they gained a lot of traction with that. I mean, that class filled up on a regular basis. Women are huge market.
Yeah, I follow Ultimate Defense on their Facebook, and I don't know if they have an Instagram, but I see their feed quite a bit, and they always have ladies' nights, and it's like 2 weeks in advance. It's always sold out. You have to order like 3 to 4 weeks in advance to actually get a ticket, because that's how busy you guys are with that.
Well, I think that's a good way to get get women involved, and they will spread the word and help when it comes to the 2A, and the more of them that are involved, I think the better off that whole situation will be.
Yeah.
I think another huge problem with the whole 2A situation is the majority of gun owners, because gun owners don't tend to handle situations in the best manner a lot of the time. I think the reputation of gun owners being like, oh, fuck you, like, you stupid liberal fuck, like, I own a gun, 2A, America, South will rise again, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very large group in the 2A community that kind of ruins it for everybody else. I think that's also a very large problem. And then the more silent group of the more educated people in the 2A community also tend not to do enough to make their voice heard and be the voice of reason, I guess you could say. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, what I would say is I think what would be necessary is right now you have a lot of groups and entities that are backing the anti-gun movement, but those gentlemen that are backing the anti-gun movement is actually, they're creating something over here. They're getting you enticed and interested, but they have their little name and logo. And then whenever you finally look up the name and logo and you realize that, oh, they're actually anti-gunners. And then you're just like, well, I know Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I know like Dads Against Drunk Driving. I know those communities. And then you see them supporting child abduction rings and not supporting, but like trying to cancel the child abduction rings. Well, then that's a situation that we could actually capitalize on in the gun community right now. Everyone in a past 2 to 3 years has been having the forefront of their mind brought to pedophiles. For some reason, just in the news, every once in a while, someone breaks out, oh, this guy's a sexual assault guy, this guy's this guy's that. If we find a way to capitalize on that to show, we're here to stand up for your right, and then underneath do hey, the strategic sponsors this event. Not tell them, hey, I'm Haley Strategic, I'm Travis Haley. Like, look what I've done. But be like, it's an underlying tone. Think about same thing with Nike. Everyone recognizes Nike not because of the brand, but because someone wears it. If you have a way to capitalize on someone recognizing the brand by having something bigger talked about, would be a great way to launch the Pro 2A up into the stratosphere. But that's what I think. So the next one is actually going to be a gun topic again, but this one's going to be a little different. This one is going to be top three basic firearm drills that will help with someone to learn or capitalize or even, master the basics. I actually have my 3, so I'm going to go ahead and go with you before I let you guys go in. So I'm just going to jump right into it. One of them is actually, it is something a lot of people mess up on. And this is something that Jeremiah and I talked about on the floor just a couple days ago, and that's actually the proper way to hold a handgun. I was always taught you come in, you get that nice grip, you bring that thumb over, and the thumb is actually really key on a couple different facets. And you also have your palm. The palm then comes in, wraps around, and then the two thumbs match. Well, whenever Jeremiah was in the store and on the floor, he was showing
That
me.
rhymed.
It did rhyme. He brought his thumb over, and I'm sorry, I'm like super pale, so it's kind of hard to see. But he wrapped his thumb on top of it, that palm, and I was just like, I've never shot like that. I wonder what it would work. And being open to criticism and being open to different shooting styles, that's evolution. That's a very, very big fundamental to learn and be willing to realize that no right way is right. There are many wrong ways, but there's no 100% bona fide, this is how it works. This is the best way to do it. Because everyone has different sized palms. Everyone has different sized fingers. Some people don't even have all their fingers. So you got to realize that not every way is the right way. You have to find a way what works best for you.
Exactly.
But do understand that one-handed shooting isn't how it's designed. That's like, in order to get proper control, I'm sorry. If you have one hand, then okay, that's the best you can do. But you should train that way. You should be able to train with one hand. But if you want to get best accuracy, two hands. Don't go in here with your wrist. So that would be like number one. Understand that there are multiple ways, but there are way more wrong ways. Other one is actually a shooting drill I love. But the shooting drill is actually, it works best with two people. Because what you're going to do is one person takes a magazine, they drop it, then the person who's the shooter walks away and looks the opposite direction. When you're the opposite direction, the person takes a magazine and they put a round in the magazine racket and then place it down, and then the shooter comes back up. Now, here's the thing. Your partner doesn't always do that. What the partner is designing and is supposed to do, they put one round in, but the majority of the time they don't. So whenever you go in and you pull the trigger and you have that click, the goal is not to flinch. Make it stay nice and flat across the board, and whenever you pull that trigger, it just stays flat. If you feel or you notice that drips or that drops, or you whip up or whips to the side, what happens is you start to realize you might be having too much finger, you might be having too little, or you might be anticipating and you're pulling it down to anticipate that recoil up. So you just want the gun to function naturally. So the anticipation game is fantastic. So I really love it. I always like going to the range with people. Going with 2, sometimes 4 people is actually a lot of fun, because then you can start doing shooting drills or you can start doing manipulations, and having your shooting partners there to do like return or provide cover fire or something like that would actually, it's a lot of fun. So that's a bad one if you only go shooting with yourself. But the range is a place that you can make friendships. You see the same people there. That's actually how I met Red, White, and Ben. He was actually an employee at Ultimate, and I was there on a weekly basis. And then we started talking, and the next thing I know, whenever I started coming to Tactical Shit, there he was, and he offered me a job, and I was just like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So, you can make friends at the range. The range is not just a place, but it's also a place that you need to realize that it should not be a place where you condescend or you alienate people. So back to the first point, it's a place of learning. Just because someone does it one way doesn't mean that it's not perfect, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong either. So, the last one is actually one of my favorites, and this one's a dry fire drill, and this one you can do at your house. What you do is you take your firearm and you take a coin and you put it on your front sight post, and then you pull the trigger. And whenever you pull the trigger, whenever that goes click, that coin on your front sight post shouldn't move. Very simple drill, nothing fancy about it. But by the time that you're done and you actually go back to the range, you'll start to see that your placements start to be in the same spot or around the same spot, because everything stays flat, because everything is staying flat and it's not moving, and you can start to control and maximize all that muscles inside your index finger for the control. Your accuracy will slowly start to improve. So, what were your guys's?
I'll let Jeremy go first because he's probably more fresh. It's been a long time since I've taught.
I was gonna say you could go first because Scott's third one was one of mine, so I need to think of something else now.
You can repeat it. That would be one of your thirds.
So real quick to touch on what you opened with saying about there's no right way. Mm-hmm. The only right way is one that's A, safe, and B, accurate. Mm-hmm. So if you can maintain those two things, however you're shooting, that's the right way.
Yeah.
Pretty plain and simple.
No, I can't argue with that.
Yeah. Like when I was getting taught to shoot, we were always taught like the little middle of the pad of your index finger, like on the last tip. And we were scolded if we didn't do that. It's like, oh, you suck. You're going to be inaccurate, blah, blah, blah. Well, the more I fiddled with firearms and I sank more my finger on the trigger because of the way my fingers are, that completely eliminated my rifle or pistol moving to the side. Like just one simple little thing. Mm-hmm. So like there's no set way of doing it. If you need to move your finger in on, let's say, a Glock, which are, if you're right-handed, is notorious for, is it low left?
Low left.
Yeah. Sink more of your trigger finger in. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, Pat McNamara.
It's normal
yeah,
thought.
It felt super weird when I first started doing it. I was like, this just feels dirty. But I started trying it more and more. I was like, wow, that actually works. And it's funny because right after I started doing that, I actually saw a video that Pat McNamara posted, and he's like, sink more of your finger onto the trigger on Glocks because stuff and things, this is better. Give it a try and see if it works for you. And I was like, oh my God. And then I showed it to one of my buddies, and then when he would shoot a Glock, he's like, wow, I'm like way more accurate now. So
yep.
That's one little thing. I guess probably one of my biggest tips I would say is like dry firing is very, very underrated. Like honestly, the way I see it is like there's a time and place for dry firing and live firing, but live firing is more of a confirmation of what you're doing when you dry fire. Like dry firing is where you hammer your fundamentals. So like honestly, any time that I'm watching Netflix or something, or if it's like the 700th time that I've binged The Office, I'll grab a gun, make sure that it's clear, and then the entire time I'm watching TV, I'm dry firing, making sure that if I pull the trigger, it stays exactly where I was aiming, stuff like that. Yeah, and I'll do that the entire time I'm watching TV.
Mm-hmm. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
I have a CZ P07, so it's a hammer fire, not a striker fire. And I'll do that just one long pull. Even though it's like super heavy, I love doing that because that super heavy long pull really gets that muscle tension built up in that index finger. And it really drives home what my first shot's going to be like. Well, then I can just, drop the hammer and then actually make it a lot easier. But I love that long pull just because it feels great.
There's something about a hammer fired pistol, like the smooth long pull of it feels really good.
Yeah, it's the way the way it just releases. It's crisp when you know when it lets go and then hammer's moving versus trying to hit that striker fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely cleaner.
I'm not a huge fan of like the Beretta M9, but that trigger feels pretty nice, just how smooth it is. If it's a good M9,
Yeah.
I've
some
I've
beat-
felt some good ones and some bad ones.
My damn near rattled apart.
Yeah, I've seen some really beat the fuck ones.
I'll say a P226. That feels very nice.
Yeah.
So I guess another one. There may not be some people know about this, but there's something called eye dominance. So the same way that you're left or right-handed, you can be left or right-eyed. And if you're starting to get into shooting, that's something that you need to identify because that's going to change a lot of stuff like as you're getting into it. And the best way to check that is make a triangle with your hands, put it out in front of you, close one eye, and then switch to the other. And then if that moves from when you have both eyes open, then you're the other eye dominant. So like if I do this, I have both eyes open, look at it with my right eye, it doesn't move. If I move to my left eye, it shifts to the right. I'm right eye dominant. So that factors a lot, especially if you're shooting handguns or anything with iron sights, because that's the eye that you need to train to focus on your front sight post, which is already an ordeal in itself. Getting to where you stare at your front sight post and not the target. Mm-hmm. So I'd say that's my number 2. I'm still mad at you for taking my other one.
Well, I was actually taught differently with that.
Really?
Yeah, the way that I was taught is you do a triangle, but then you bring it in to be as small as possible, hole as possible. And then once you have that hole, find something in the distance and then keep your eye on it, then bring it in. Whenever you bring that in, you'll start to realize that will actually hover over
Your dominant eye.
Huh.
your dominant eye.
I've actually never heard that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just another example of there's no right way. If
Yeah.
it works, it works.
Yeah.
You do this long enough, you're always learning from other people and different things. I mean, you all have already talked about, I can't really add much to it except for just to remind people to breathe. People get in
That's
there.
a big one.
Especially
That's
when
a
people who are
huge
interviewed
one.
Breathe, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, prime example, I actually, I had a friend, she'd never gone shooting before, and I was just like, hey, well, why don't we go? Whenever we were in the range, she started shaking, and I'm just like, hey, it's okay, breathe. And I started seeing her breathing really heavy, and the moment she grabbed the gun, everything stopped. And I'm just like,
Tensed up.
hey, breathe. You're fine. I'm here. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Whenever you inhale, just exhale. She started calming down. Next thing I know, by the time we're finished, she was actually doing everything I was telling her, and she was starting to get close to outshoot me. And I'm just like, God damn, I wish all my students were like this.
I always found that I thought women were excellent students, much more than men. The men have the ego. You know, they don't want to learn from
Right.
you. They already think they know it all. Women, most of them come in and they're apprehensive and they're shy and they're nervous, and maybe not shy, but they're nervous. You know, and you get them past that, and they're excellent students.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, you guys didn't really touch on stance much, and there's not really a right way or a wrong way. It's just how you're comfortable. I always taught
That's very
square it up
situation
to
dictates.
to the target. You know, situation dictates it a big time. Yeah.
So the way marksmanship used to be taught was you held it from the side, which is also the reasoning for the angle of the A2 grip, like on the M16s. So the reason it's that angle is because marksmanship used to be taught that you hold it to the side and then you shoot that way, which naturally brings your wrist up. Yeah.
Towards
Now,
the target.
once plates were introduced into the situation, then shooters were being taught square up with your target because you have protection there. And so that's another area that stance really varies. It depends on how you're shooting.
No, I if you watch old videos of competition shooters, even old revolver guys, they were actually using it with one hand, but they only showed this part of their target. It's because it actually went back to the old days of fencing, the smaller that you create a target, the smaller
Give
target
them the
you
side,
have.
don't give them the front.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Because you're only giving them this part, you now had the target go from this to this. And that's a huge deal. I learned that whenever I was in fencing, and you just follow the history and you start to see that whenever firearms came to be, they went to the exact same style that they were taught with fencing. Just go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, whatever stance you're in, bend your knees, bend your elbows. Don't lock it. Don't get locked up.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to get a nice size wallop. Your wrists are going to hurt. You're going to get a nice size wallop, and you're going to be pissed. There's a whole Reddit forum about gun fails. So I'll be happy to see you there. But actually, that was actually great. We went through a lot there. Did you guys have any, maybe like more advanced ones that it might be good for them to start thinking about, or maybe for our more competitive or advanced shooters?
I remember some stuff we did during, getting ready to mob out, things like that. It was squaring up, they with M4s. Everybody walk in one direction, and they would give you a signal, and you would just pivot on one foot, your left foot, square up to your target, and then engage target, and then actually start to walk on your feet, roll on your feet, kind of roll on your feet towards the target as you engage.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But
Okay. Well, the very next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is something that currently is hitting home here in Missouri, and that's actually the fact that there are Americans are fleeing states and where they're going. Now, if you actually follow the top ones, you notice that New Jersey, democratically run. New York, democratically run. Illinois, democratically run.
Screw the Cubs.
Connecticut, democratically run.
oh, this can go on and on.
California, democratically run.
No way.
You go through the top half, and you notice that a lot of these are actually democratically run states, as you can see
A lot of
here.
them, or every single one that you just read off?
Yeah.
Well, okay, the top five are democratically run states. Now, if you come down here, you see Kansas. Kansas is like a hit or miss. There can be blue, sometimes it can be red. But you come down here where we have Missouri, which is us.
We're a red state, but
We're a red state, but we actually are tied for 17th.
it has a lot to do with employment.
And we don't
Jobs.
have a lot of corporate entities here. And the corporate entities that we have, we keep losing the bid contracts that bring them here. We had the opportunity to bring Amazon's main distribution here and their corporate headquarters.
And what happened? Too much crime.
They didn't want to come here. And I agree with them. So, you know what? That's our fault. But we're willing
New
to.
York had a shot at that too, but I believe AOC blew that one for him.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that blew that one. But as you can see here, 58.7% are outbound moves. So you have more, like, over half of the people that are moving inside that state are actually leaving the state.
Does it say where they're going from each state?
So
I'm very curious to see where people from Missouri are going, because we have very, very lax laws for the most part.
I don't know if there's if I was to guess, I
like
would
where-
say Florida.
it doesn't say.
Yeah, I mean,
But they do attribute it to skyrocketing rent, mortgage prices, gas prices, and normal average price, crazy high cost of living, extensive taxes, droughts for the past year, mandatory power outages, safety purposes in areas of the state, devastating fires, and lack of an insurance coverage for houses. Those in areas makes this an absolutely awful.
That's Missouri.
okay, well, hold on.
That's California.
That's California. You just said fires. I was like, what?
Oh, I was like,
no.
I thought we were talking about Missouri. I was like, hold up there, bud.
The article that I have here, it doesn't say anything about it. Like where
Yeah,
they're going.
California, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those fires suck.
But But
They're
here
right there.
is number one, New
yeah.
Jersey, 69.5.
That's insane.
Over 2/3 of the moves are moving out of the state of New Jersey.
I think a lot of what I hear, New York, New Jersey, those upper East Coast, northerners up there, when they move, they just head down the coast. They go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida.
I can see that.
Californians are going to
A lot of Californians
Texas.
are going to Texas.
going
Yeah.
to Texas.
I've actually seen and personally witnessed that because I actually have a friend that lived in Nevada due to the expansive increase of people from California moving to Nevada. They're moving to Texas, and she ended up moving right in between two people that just moved out of California and the three houses. It's California, her, California. And I'm just like,
That's
Now,
crazy.
here's the whole fucked up thing about this whole situation. All those people that are fleeing out of those states, democratically run states, that are broke or whatever, taxing them out the yin yang, they move to these other states, usually red states, and then don't change their voting habits and get pissed
Right.
off why the
Yep.
same shit starts happening
Yep.
again.
Like, when I guess that's a very big testament to like what you just said about New Yorkers moving down to like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, because I was very shocked when Georgia became a blue state.
Yep.
I was shooketh, as the youngins are saying.
Are they saying that?
well,
They're saying it.
they're saying it now.
But yeah, I mean,
I heard someone
hell, if
say it.
if
Someone
all of
could
those
be
people
him.
leave California, I'll happily go back once it turns back to a red state.
But I think the guys that are leaving are not the blue; they're the reds.
They
But
just-
they're like the middle ground red, or they're probably a little bit more closer to like a purple tint, to where like they're not quite blue, but they're not quite red, but they lean more towards blue than they do red.
Word on the street is California's about to have a Republican governor. So,
I was just going to ask you
so
about that.
hopefully that follows through because that would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
How long's it been?
since a Republican?
Was Arnold Schwarzenegger the last Republican governor?
No, I thought he was Democrat.
No, he was Republican.
He
Oh, no,
was?
wait. No, he was Republican because his wife, Maria Shriver, was from the Kennedy family, was Democrat.
Oh, okay. I'm actually gonna look this up here. You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm gonna
Pretty
look it
sure
up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was the last Republican
Yeah,
governor.
I feel like that's
of
about
California.
right.
And everybody was wondering, like, well, how the hell's that happen? Because he married, Shriver, who comes from the Kennedy family, who are all Democrats. They bleed blue. Shit.
Yeah, I mean,
If they get it, I hope that guy wins.
yeah,
California
that would
needs
be
that.
awesome. Like, California.
Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. God damn! I didn't realize that he was red.
Like
And
geographically,
that was when?
2006, 2010.
2000. So he did one
So-
term.
Oh wait, no. It was a special election of 2003 to 2010, which would have been January 3rd, 2011. So
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In 10 years, look what they've done.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad a shape it was in 2000. Back in 10 years ago, it was probably already in pretty bad shape, but
Well, yeah.
not like this.
I mean, just looking at the names here, Ronald Reagan, 1967 to 1975, Republican, and that was the heyday of California.
What is it with these actors? Who's this new guy?
I forget what his name
Is
is.
he a veteran?
Honestly, I don't know. So my buddy who still lives in California called me last night and he was telling me about it and I was like ridiculously tired. So I apologize, Kevin. I wasn't really listening all the way, but I got the important parts.
Yeah. We'll look him up.
But yeah, like I had like multiple friends be like, "Hey, when are you gonna come back and visit California?" I was like, when I can carry a gun without paperwork there." Like, why would I leave this place? I don't want to go back to paying $4 for a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
And, $2,500 a month for a studio apartment at the most.
Yeah, that's
it's
low.
like Manhattan.
That's
prices.
low.
Low, yeah.
Yeah. It's bad. The fact that your average median household to buy a house has to be $1 million
Yeah.
plus
And-
is insane.
And the salaries out there aren't even. They're almost no different than what you'd make here in Missouri.
Yeah. So obviously, while I was getting out of the military, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm going to go to this police department because they start at 90,000 a year." And then I'm just like, "Yeah, that's San Francisco."
Good luck.
So
You
that's
could be-
nothing.
If you ain't making six figures, you ain't making it,
Yeah,
and that's
you're
just barely.
you're going to be living out of your car.
Yeah. Well, speaking
that.
of political turmoil, we're actually going to be jumping over to something that actually broke yesterday, and it's been getting a little bit of press today. The entire staff of the Nevada Democratic Party quits after Democratic Socialist slate won every seat. Yeah. Evidently, the entire staff, including the former chair of the Democratic Party, actually lost the seat to a Democratic Socialist. He wrote her a professional email, and Judith Whitmer won her election on Saturday to become chair of the Nevada Democratic Party. She got an email from the party's executive director, Alina Mounts. I'm sorry, I butchered that. The message from the Moons, whatever, began with a note of congratulations before getting to her main point. She was quitting, and every other employee. So the consultants, the staff, and they were all wanted their severance checks also.
Wow. It just amazes me. I don't know how,
Like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, not only are you gonna quit, but you're demanding your severances? What the
that's
fuck
gonna
is
happen.
wrong with you?
Well, there's the people who just took their seats over. They're socialists. They're not going to give them a severance pay. They're going to spread that among spread the wealth.
Oh yeah, no, let's go into the other guys. Let's go into the guys down at the bottom. Remember, we support those guys. We do the trickle down economy here.
Every seat lost to a socialist Democrat.
And then everyone in the Democratic chair all quit. That was Nevada too. Nevada is actually
So when they call themselves socialist Democrats, what do they mean?
so. Socialist is if you actually
I understand what socialists.
yeah.
I understand that. Do they understand that?
Yeah. I don't think they actually understand what the word socialist actually implies
Or
and
socialism?
yeah. And what you're actually supporting.
Do they
Now,
have they even bothered to look into the history of socialism and its
Probably not.
absolute failures around the world,
yeah.
even recently?
But the thing is,
Remember Russia?
Venezuela.
no. The Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Not
Oh, yeah.
Russia.
Oh.
Soviet
Thank you
Union.
for
brother.
correcting me. The Soviet Union. Remember those guys?
Socialist Democrat, and they have fair and legal elections.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Spain? It wasn't until the 90s whenever Spain got free of their socialist command. Now they're going back to it.
Amazing.
Yeah. But
Great reset.
the Great Reset. But back to the point at hand, that actually, technically, I actually fall into the socialist category. And the reason why, not the primary socialist, I actually fall underneath libertarian socialism. I don't believe in whole spreading the wealth, but I do believe that there are individuals inside our company, and I'm sorry, not inside our company, inside our country that do need help. For example, wounded veterans shouldn't fucking go home and be, sorry, peace, go fuck yourself. No, we should find a way to provide for them. If you can't work again for providing for the safety of our country, yes, I'm happy to pay taxes so that you can get a
we
basic
have
income.
organizations set up for that. We have
Yeah,
welfare
so-
for the poor. We have we have VA.
So,
Even though it sucks, but
Yeah.
that's its purpose.
yes. So going into that, I 100% agree. You should be taken care of if you're a wounded vet. The problem is that a lot of veterans don't do the process because it's a pain in the dick. Like I'm going through the VA process right now, like just for like the little stuff, like hearing, my knees really fucking hurt. I mean, yeah.
Both of you guys are like, yeah.
But like, so like, I understand, like, I was fortunate enough to where like I didn't get blown up or anything, but there are a significant number of veterans that just aren't taking advantage
I'm
of
not
it.
fucking with it. They turned me down twice for my ears, and I said, "That's it. I'm done."
Yeah. Yeah, the ear thing is stupid because they're not giving disability for that anymore, and I can't hear anything. Like I think
All I
they
hear
just
is
give
ringing.
you.
It just
Yeah.
never, it never stops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. There are things in place, but it's a shitty process.
And
That should be a lot less
Welfare. I mean,
complicated.
our welfare system, which was conceived and created for a good reason, has been so manipulated and taken advantage of. It's a failure now.
Yeah. No, and that's where I'm saying, like, I believe that those systems should be in place and they should be easier. However, because of those beliefs that, there should be a government fund for repairing the roads, there should be a government funded public school, there should be these options available so that those who don't have money have the capability to provide for their families, the kids, their futures, and so on and so forth. However, because of that actually falls underneath the socialist ideology that the government provides. The government does provide in some aspect, but me being a completely well-working, provided American that I can do whatever I want, also should be the fact that I don't have government overreach into my life. I can do whatever the fuck I want as long as I'm not hurting someone. If I want to provide life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like as long as I'm doing those three things and I'm not hurting another person's life, I'm not taking away another person's happiness, and I'm not taking another person's liberty, I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's libertarianism to me. And that's also why I fall into a weird category, because I'm all for public schools. I'm all for government ran programs as long as it's there to benefit society. But also, whenever I'm doing something, fuck you. That's my business. That's my life. So, soapbox ended. Back to you guys. So, like, I don't know if some people get that idea that socialism does have its pros, and it's not completely a negative aspect. There are some positive side to socialism, but they're continually, and history shows that they continually being manipulated and taken advantage of by individuals who design them because they purposely design loopholes in them. And that's where I think people don't get that. They don't decide to read the history books. They don't decide to sit down and just turn on the History Channel, look at the fall of the Soviet Union, see what the fuck happened there. The fact that you had more people protecting potatoes than you had people protecting the tanks and the fighter pilots and the helicopters and the ammo. Look at all the fucking guns that are currently rummaging around in the deserts, bumfuck of Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, all those Arab nations. Guess where the majority of those guns came from? The fall of the Soviet Union, and they're still fucking working.
Got sold out from underneath them.
It did. It really did. The
Generals got rich.
Oh yeah.
I think most people, when it comes in America, when it comes to socialism, they get worried about. They agree with a lot of what you said, but they're afraid of, we give a little bit, they'll take a lot, and the next thing you know, the government started off with this much control, and the next thing you know, it's, and now we're giving them way. Now they control everything.
It's
what you say, what you do, what you think, what you wear, what you eat, what you drink.
It's the talking point of give an inch, they take a mile. Yeah. You have to understand we provide their job, so therefore we get to decide when you get voted out, and that's another talking point which we had as a discussion earlier, which was term limitations.
If the election's fair. I know I had to bring that one up.
No, that's okay, man.
That's another topic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another podcast.
So, ending that topic there, unless you guys had any other talking points. No? Okay. Ending that topic there, I actually wanted to move on. We're actually getting close to the hour mark. So what I wanted to do is actually do a product review, if I can. So, this is a Black Point holster. This is the ambidextrous Glock 19, but what's in here is a clone of a Glock 17. This is actually personally mine. I have a heavily modified Glock 19. I've done a lot of work with it, slide, sights, trigger, undercut, double cut, serrations out the wazoo. So there's a lot of really cool things that I did to it. But the thing is, because of that, I needed to find a holster that would be perfect for it. I really fell in love with this. What's really nice about it is this little device here actually pushes this into your belt and your stomach, because this sits here with the belt. And by pushing that in, it actually makes it to where it sits more flush against your flesh, so you don't print as much. So I was able to actually carry my Glock 17 in this, and no one could tell. I was very pleased with it. I am very impressed with it, and I do have to say, I really wish that Black Point makes some for the CZs, because we got some CZP10s, and I don't have a CZP10, but I do have a CZP07. How about you make one? Hook me up. But really, really, really great job. I love the retention. The retention was a little weird because you have two screws here, and whenever you tighten one, it actually starts to mess with the retention. Even though one is designed to be the retention and the other one is not, they actually both mess with the retention. So it was kind of weird trying to find the perfect medium for that retention. But one of the other things that kind of compensated to go back to the pros is the fact that this can be convertible, and it comes with an extra piece that actually goes here. And then now this becomes an outside the waistband rather than an inside the waistband. So it's convertible to become an outside the waistband holster. So very, very good job, Black Point. I'm very impressed. I highly recommend it for any of our customers. We actually have a very large wall and selection of these. So 3 months of me running this, I didn't have any problems with it. If you guys want to mess around with it.
What's it run?
So that one was 98. But
I believe we also have some for the HK VP9 and possibly the SK. I can't remember if we have one for the VP9 SK, but those are very hard to find holsters for, and we have them.
Mm-hmm. They did a phenomenal job with everything that they had going on. Here we go. So it's $94.99. Let me bring this up over here on our website. And as you can see here, that's actually how you run it. And it actually, that little device there will actually push that into your stomach, so it actually, you don't print as much, which is something that my current holster that I have for my CZP07, it doesn't have. So I do have to kind of fiddle with it in order to get that perfect medium that I'm looking for. And then it also is convertible to become an outside the waistband. So,
or left hand.
Or a lefty. You're absolutely right on that. Or a lefty.
Yeah, these things are pretty rad.
Mm-hmm. So, good job. Really, really, really good job on that. They do have some different models too. So they actually have a outside the waistband only, and the outside the waistband only has leather straps, so it actually morphs and conforms with your body as you're walking and moving around with it. It's not rigid, which those of us that have done work on holsters that are attached to your belt permanently can tell you that it gets shitty fast when you have something that's locked into place and you can't move that section of your body. So, but overall, seriously, I only downside I had about it was trying to find the right manipulation of the retention because of it.
Now I'm gonna look into that because the current one I have, I kind of was trying to save.
Mike.
I was trying to save some money.
Yep.
So I'm gonna look into that because the other one's just wearing a spot on me. It's not comfortable.
And
at
that's
all. It felt like it was when I first put it in, but after wearing it for a couple of days now, I'm like, yeah, I'm not happy with that. So
I was very happy and very pleased with it. So, did you do you have one of them or
No, I don't.
okay? I seem to be the odd man out on it.
They're definitely good holsters, though.
Yeah.
I was really looking into buying one for my 320, but at the time I wasn't looking to spend $95 on one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be an investment in the future because, I mean, now I also need to buy an outside the waistband holster for said 320, so I can just get one of those, which does the job a bit better, and I can convert to outside the waistband. So that's going to be one of my purchases in the near future. But at the time, I just didn't want to spend $95 on one.
No, I feel you. So, now that we got that over with, I wanted to move on to the next topic. And the next topic, we actually have 3 news articles about solar winds. Now, if you follow back to like episode 5 or episode 6, we talked about how SolarWinds was attacked through a series of events. Started off with a software firm that ended up being used for SolarWinds. Then that got attacked, and then it ended up leading indirectly into SolarWinds. And SolarWinds is a Fortune 500 company that actually provides majority of IT services for Fortune 500 company, including NASA, DOJ, DOD,
a shit ton of government.
shit ton of government. Yeah, including the office of the president. That got hacked.
That's
back-
not important at all.
That got hacked back in April and May of 2020. Now they're actually revealing that there is malware attacking Macs. So everyone that's been all on the Apple saying, "Oh, Apple's never been hacked. They don't have any viruses. They don't have any
Can't get a
problems."
virus. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
Well, not anymore. In fact, the new malware, which hasn't been linked directly to that problem, but it looks like it's developed somewhere around from it, actually is getting affected. There are right now reports of over 30,000 Macs that have security pros stumped.
Is this Macs or is this Apple products?
Apple products.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
like iPhones too.
So the article didn't go into say, but it did say Macs and Apple products.
Okay.
So
I mean, because I know iPads are super common in offices now. Mm-hmm. So I could see how that would be a very large problemo.
yes. And what's really scary about that is the fact that the security consultants and the security professionals for IT are actually really stumped. They don't understand what's happening and why it's happening. They don't understand what the main goal is. The only thing they understand is the fact that there's malware on it now, and they don't know what the goal is. They did do some research, and they were able to find out that there are goals set inside the malware, but the goals that have been set are undetermined. They don't know what it is. It could be the fact that it's waiting to, once it reaches 100,000, then it finally goes live and it crashes 100,000 computers. Or it could be that it's looking for a very specific IP address, and then once it finds that IP address, then it shuts it down, and then all the other ones get shut down too. It could be a situation that it's just someone wrote it, threw it out there, the guy got killed or whatever situation, or they wrote it just to say, you know what? I'm going to write a virus for or malware for Apples.
Just to show you I can do it.
Yeah. And then they did it. And then they're just like, I did it. Peace out, motherfucker.
No. They're not going to go through put in the time to do that without it having a purpose. So they see it sitting there, they can't get it out?
Yep. They don't know. They don't know what's going on. Yeah. It's
Might want to fire your IT people and get some new ones.
well, that's the whole thing. Everyone thought Apple was like untouchable. Everyone thought
I heard
Apple
for years. I've been hearing for generations that Apple will not get a virus.
Not anymore. Yeah. No, it's getting real interesting. And the thing that's kind of getting me is the fact that now there is evidence showing that the SolarWinds hack actually was carried out within the United States.
I was just getting ready to ask, where did it originate?
So that
dude was screaming.
Yeah, I wonder if I got that on the
That
mics.
dude was screaming. That was a guy on a motorcycle that just went by on the service road or somewhere, and he was flying.
My God.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pick that up on the mics.
So it originated in the United States.
However,
Was
American
it
born?
pinpointed where?
No, so the article doesn't go into that. But they did. But the beginning of the article actually reveals what they knew about it in the beginning, which was the latest evidence of the investigation into the SolarWinds hacks suggests that the attacks was carried out from within the U.S., but still believed Russia was ultimately responsible for the cyber attack. So it could be the fact that security advisors were brought in. They were security advisors, dumped the malware in, but made it the source code as the United States. But everything that was coming from the United States was also getting reported back to Russia. So it could be the fact that, or it could be another thing, which is the fact that the United States actually has a division in every major country that legitimately creates false flag attacks for IT and cyber attacks. And the imprint that they leave behind are actually that native country.
So we're dishing it out too.
Yeah. Oh, no. This is not new game. This is not a new
Right.
tactic. This is a tactic that's been going on.
Sure.
But it leaves an era, like an air of, was it actually a false flag? Or was it an actual situation where an American citizen, so pissed off with the country, decided to say, I'm fucking done. I'm going to show you I can control you. And then actually worked his way up the daisy chain until he got to SolarWinds. And then once he got to SolarWinds, just got the mother load of shit that he was looking for. So is this a conspiracy?
What did this individual or organization do with all this when they got there?
So they were able to obtain and take over control of every computer that was daisy chained along that route. So SolarWinds oversees the DoD, the DOJ, NASA, all five branches of the military,
take over computers that control our satellites,
and the president's office, Library of Congress, NASA, like anything you can think of that has to do with the government. SolarWinds is involved.
Tells me our government's not paying the hackers enough to protect us.
Yeah.
Or protect them.
Or the other way around, Russia is finally up in the
paying more.
game. Yeah.
Actually, I was surprised to hear it was Russia. I figured it was China.
That's actually quite interesting. Because
Or North Korea.
North Korea is not doing so well right now. You haven't heard a lot.
That's right. He's killing everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody close to him.
The only thing I've heard from North Korea for like fucking over the United States is the fact that they're actually flooding North California with perfect replicas of United States $100 bills.
Oh man, we've been bamboozled.
The only thing that they fuck up is the fact that our serial number, like our serial number printing system, is like so secretive and also so well maintained that their reprinting numbers are printing numbers that haven't existed yet. So we can track them that way. But they have the security strip. They have the pen identity strip. They have everything.
Watermark.
They have everything that our $100 bill has. But they're printing it in mass, and then they're doing whatever they want, and then they're flooding it into the Northeast. And it's a big problem right now because banks are accepting them. People are accepting them. It passes that little watermark. It passes the UV light. So, yeah. That's the only thing I've heard from North Korea for a while, though. But, I mean, hey, maybe something. Maybe Kim Jong Un is
Well,
working on something.
Our government prints fucking money like, it's growing on trees.
Yeah,
anyway.
oh no, they're gonna crash our economy. Oh no, it's not like our government gives us money every couple months.
We're gonna do another, $1.9 trillion relief package.
Yeah. No, so
And we still don't even know if the gold is actually still in Fort Knox or not.
I
Dude, I haven't even thought about that. I was like, whatever.
yeah.
Nothing I can do about it. So the government's gonna give me money. So
The last
guns
guy,
and tattoos.
the last guy that was a president that said that we should audit the Federal Reserve. Do you know who it was?
Ronald Reagan.
Reagan.
Wow.
Kennedy.
Do you know how far away his speech was saying that we should audit the Federal Reserve until he got assassinated was?
72 hours.
It was
From the time that he gave the speech?
Yeah, to the time that he was assassinated.
24 hours.
No, it was a month.
A month? Mm-hmm. So he gave the speech. A month later, he's dead.
Yep. 2 weeks after he gave the speech, he also gave a speech stating that there was an underground movement of society inside the United States that's actually there to control the population of the U.S. 2 weeks later, he was killed.
Great reset.
You were the Great Reset, man.
I'm gonna mention that
To
on
control
every
the
podcast
population of
I'm
the United
on.
States, you mean like Planned Parenthood?
For those who know, that's 100% true. The lady that
The lady that started that was her. That's what she believed in. That's what.
Yeah, she believed in controlling and canceling and killing off the black culture, and that's why she only picked urban environments to put Planned Parenthood. She refused to put him in suburban environments where there was white neighborhoods.
Every
I
single
never heard
one.
about that actually.
Oh no, it's very well documented. I highly recommend that read. It's really good. But anyways, I'm gonna top off. If you guys want to talk about something, otherwise the mics are just gonna pick up this gurgling sound.
Are we going to be here for a little bit longer? Because if so, I need to
Yes.
refill and I need to go.
Oh, if you gotta use the restroom, yeah, absolutely, yeah. All right,
I'll be back.
I'll cut this up then.
That's awesome. Gandalf getting
10
down.
hours. This is the closest I'll get to talking about Daft Punk.
Just the sax. That's
Yeah.
I don't even think that they really use sax a lot in their music.
I stand by my statement.
Is that the whole thing?
10 hours.
10 hours?
yeah.
Wow. That's like a bobblehead.
There's also a, the ending credit song for SpongeBob?
I can't say I do.
Oh, hold up.
Okay.
Right,
Only
see,
one.
now you're going back to what I had to watch when my kids were growing up.
The only SpongeBob that I know.
How old are you, by the way?
23.
Yeah, so you're the same age as my kids. Same age as my kids. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't.
It's in the credits after every episode.
Oh, during the credits. Yeah, no.
I usually
yeah.
just hit next episode.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
I'm usually trying to get the damn
whenever
thing off the television.
Whenever I'm playing Xbox with my buddies, I'll grab my guitar and I start playing that while we're waiting for like a game to load, and they're like, "God damn it, will you stop?"
The only one that I know of, like, I didn't know that, but I'm really not one that like listens to the end credits.
Yeah.
I'll watch end credits because like I'm just like, oh yeah. I ended up knowing a few guys that did some movies. A guy I used to work at Toys R Us. His name is Chris.
You worked at Toys R Us?
Years ago. Years ago.
Did you touch children too?
No, I did not. I was very. I had a passion for video games, and I still have a passion for video games. And the Toys R Us said that they needed people in what they call their R zone, which was their electronics section. And well, that also
Why was it called
included.
the R zone? Because that can go a
I know,
lot of
man.
ways.
I know.
I'm gonna go back to my statement. Did you give out wrestling lessons too?
No,
You guys ever played tummy swords with the children?
no. No, I did not. And yeah, like I don't know what it was, but they they said yes, and I started working there. And then like 4 months later, they filed for bankruptcy, so that I got
Oh, so
wow.
This was,
and then I got laid
so
off.
This was like recently.
Well, I mean, ish. It was like what 2016.
Was it?
No, it was before
I think it was
that.
like 2018-ish.
No. It was
It's probably a little bit further back.
2014 or
God, how old am I?
2015. Yeah, it had to be like 5 or 6 years ago.
God damn, I'm old.
And yeah, so that's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Toys R Us was the place to go for Legos.
Yeah. I'm
Besides
still
the Lego store.
Yeah. I was really impressed that Toys R Us still has a stand. In fact, I did not know that they only filed for bankruptcy in a handful of countries. Whenever I went to South Korea, Toys R Us is still going strong over there. Whenever I was visiting South Korea. And I was just like, this is amazing. And they're just like, yeah, they fucking love us here. All right. I didn't know it, but I guess so.
Weird flex.
I know. So now that we got that rant over, we're going to be jumping into another topic. And this is actually going to be pop culture. And this one is actually one of my top 5 bands of all time. As you can see, Jeremiah is not entertained.
Do they do anything with Gandalf?
No, they did not. I mean, maybe Thomas and Guy had a thing about Lord of the Rings, but they didn't showcase it like Led Zeppelin or Rush, where they actually wrote a song about Lord of the Rings. So those who don't know, Daft Punk is a group. Daft Punk has been around for 28 years now. They ended up forming back in 1993 and just broke up. And since their breakup, sales has increased 2,650%. Now, that's actually a huge feat whenever you put it in perspective. And the fact that Daft Punk now is no longer making any music. Now, the video that they revealed was called Epilogue. And it showed that Thomas and Guy were walking through a desert, and then Guy ended up getting farther steps ahead. And then after a little while, Thomas stopped, then commits suicide with a time bomb, and then now only Guy is left. So it's a good chance that Guy will continue to write music, but he's not going to write music as Daft Punk anymore. So personally, very sad moment because I'm a huge Daft Punk fan. I have almost every single one of their albums on vinyl. I am a vinyl guy. I'm only missing 2 out of their entire discog that have been printed on vinyl. And but I own every single song digitally. And I even have some odds and ends.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
How many songs do they have?
Quite a lot. Because there's a lot of stuff that they actually ghostwrite too. For example, a lot of people didn't know that they were actually sound engineers for Kanye and Jay-Z's album Watch the Throne. Which, I mean, you might know Kanye and Jay-Z.
I mean, I know who they are, but
Yes,
I don't.
I'm familiar with Kanye.
I know who they are, but I don't follow their music.
Okay. So, yeah, they actually did, they were one of the sound engineers for it. They did the soundtrack for Tron Legacy, which is Tron 2. Not a good movie.
That was actually really good.
Okay, well, okay. You can like it if you want. I loved the music, but being a Tron fan, it really didn't hit home for me the way that I wanted it to. So, and for me, it actually hit home for me. Like it was a sad day whenever I woke up and it was 15 minutes after it aired, and I get that little message from YouTube saying, "Hey, Daft Punk just released something." I was just like, oh. And I immediately got on YouTube and I screenshot it to my TV, and there I am blaring it super loud so I can hear the new song of Daft Punk, and it's their breakup video, and I was so devastated. That whole day was like a death in the family for me. I know it's weird to say that, especially with the fact that, you know, like there are very big tragedies, but Daft Punk has been through like my musical career for a long time, so it was a very sad moment for me and a very sad day. So I do have to say, you know, thanks for the memories. Moving on.
Rest in peace.
Yes. Yes. So the next thing we're going to be talking about.
Beavis and Butthead.
Fire.
What's that commercial he's in now?
Beavis and Butthead's in a commercial now?
He talks about cornholio in it. There's a commercial. It's got freaking Beavis and Butthead in it.
I didn't know that.
I mean, my Hulu, I pay to not have ads, so I have no idea.
And you don't watch anything else but Hulu.
Oh,
I actually just canceled my Hulu, but
Yeah, I canceled mine too.
the Hulu I had didn't
Gotcha.
have ads.
So this is actually something that I got really excited about whenever I saw this. Congressman Thomas Massie released a Facebook post back on February 27th at 2:24 p.m. And he announced that he has introduced 2 pieces of legislation this week designated to end the taxpayer-funded congressional pensions. Basically, if you guys want to go read it, just go fucking read it. Don't.
I'm down with it.
It's on Facebook. Read it.
Don't have to read it.
Yep.
I like the title.
What he's doing and what he wants to do, it's good thing I just got out of that. You guys would have seen something.
Is this referring to what I was talking about before the podcast started?
No, that was actually it was a message from my brother, but it was a personal information about him. So.
For those wondering, before we started the podcast, I told Scott, "Hey, are you going to close that Pornhub tab before we start the podcast?" And he starts freaking out and looking for it. And then I laughed really hard because there was no Pornhub tab. But he looked.
I looked because I was away from the computer. I didn't know if someone decided to fuck with me and throw a Pornhub tab out.
Listen to this.
So, Congressman Thomas Massie announced that, and what his goal is the fact that the government spending is going out of control, and the fact that a lot of Congress, House of Representatives, Senate, and even some of the non-voted in but appointed roles get to vote on their pay raises. So every year...
That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
I know. Every
Wouldn't
year...
everybody vote that they get a raise?
And they
And
have.
yeah, and they have.
That
Every year they vote to get a raise. Every year they
Increase
vote to
their
get a
pensions,
pension.
Do this, do that. They got the best health care on the planet.
And they just have to serve one term. You know, for a House of Representatives,
Set up for
that's
life.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years and you're set up for life.
But I don't really follow like that side of the politic congressional thing.
The only
like,
one. In your age
so
group,
like
in your age group, same age as my children, you don't follow it. You're not aware.
Yeah.
Of it. You're not aware.
I mean,
of
I would say
actually
that's-
how bad it is.
Yeah.
that is a big fault of mine. Like I know how much I should follow it, but I have a very hard time following a lot of
That's not
recent
uncommon, though.
things.
It's just not uncommon. I don't. When
But,
I was,
like-
when I was your age, probably didn't follow a whole lot when it was in politics either.
Anywho, but like that's insane. 2 years.
2 years.
So the people that decide what happens with our country serve 2 years. People in the military serve 4, depending on, well, majority of contracts are 4
Most of them
years.
for put their asses on the line.
Yeah,
Really put their asses on the line.
Well,
that's
it's
And
insane.
then those.
I didn't know that it was only 2 years for Congress
And
House
then
Representatives.
they get a
or
lifetime
House
pension.
Representatives.
Yeah. Now, if you
And
do,
healthcare.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's like you got the wrong fucking business. That's what you
Yeah,
got.
2-year term, lifetime pension, healthcare, set up.
2 years and you. I'm
Now-
not even mad. That's just
Now
fucking
you understand
hilarious.
how bad it is.
Yeah. Now imagine the fact that if that was gone, how much money you'd be keeping
Fuck
in your
'em.
paycheck.
Because that's taxes.
Yeah, that's all taxes. So all
That
that
is hilarious. I never knew it was 2 years. And then they got a pension that early. That is hilarious.
You just have to do one term.
That is
it.
so funny.
Yeah. Now, if you become
I think
president,
I'm gonna get into politics.
yeah. If you become
You're
president,
too nice.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't lie enough.
I know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Shit.
If you become president and you do just one term, which is 4 years, you actually get 6-figure pension for life. And you never have to drive because anytime you want to go anywhere, the Secret Service drives you.
Is that required or
That's required.
Oh, that
Of every
Fuck
president, as
that.
long as they live when they leave the office, they
are
have a
not-
security detail.
Yeah,
Dude.
including their family.
Clinton still has one. Bush still has one.
dude, I get nervous as shit when other
Obama
people
still
drive
has
me.
one. Yep.
Fuck that.
Is Carter?
I don't like
Carter?
that part.
Carter passed
Well,
away.
hell, no, he's still around.
He's still around? Yes, Carter still has one.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
God damn, that dude's old.
Yeah, he is.
Peanut
Yeah.
farming's good.
It's probably like what was it? What was his big one that he loved to do? Was it cashews?
I have no idea. I always knew him as the peanut farmer.
Yeah, because he loved eating peanuts. He'd go through like a huge bag of peanuts every single day whenever he was.
Yeah, government's tossing money out the windows like it's fucking.
That is
Mm-hmm.
so funny.
So on top of that, that being said, I mean, term limits.
So the next thing is actually going to be getting into another controversial topic, and this one is actually it's pseudoscience. Don't get me wrong; I'm totally against and for pseudoscience. Sometimes some odd sciences have actually been proven to be true, and vice versa. John Hopkins expert says COVID-19 pandemic will end by April. The daily infections reported has actually declined 77% since January. Now, this article was actually written February 20th, 2021. So it actually has gone down even more. Now, here is my question to you guys. Is this a conspiracy? Or is this what the original talking point was of herd immunity? When enough people get it, they're most likely not going to be able to get it again. Because they're most likely not going to be able to get it again, it just goes away. Is this herd immunization? Or is this an actual situation where the vaccine is actually helping?
Well,
I'm not.
I don't even know if I want to open my mouth about this.
I'm the same way. I'm not getting. The
I don't want to
vaccine.
get put on a list.
I'm not getting the vaccine.
Yeah.
I already work for
I believe-
Tactical Shit, and I've kept my Instagram this long.
I believe it's.
I don't want to get it taken down.
It's herd immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
I'm horrible
Like
with English. Sorry.
the vaccine is too new. We don't know enough about it, but
Anytime the government
It
has
just-
rushed something through, push it through. Usually, there's something fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's just the places that I've been, but it seems to me like COVID has calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
it's just because I only come here and like a
I don't
couple
think
other
it was
places
as
that I
bad as
regularly
they
go.
wanted to make it out to be from the very fucking get go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never like gone in public and seen like people coughing their lungs out and looking like they have the flu. Like I've never seen COVID firsthand.
My daughter had it. Of course, she's not in the house. She doesn't live in the house with me, but she had it, and her symptoms were extremely minor. Lost her sense of smell and taste, or something like that. Had a fever for like 20 minutes. Some bullshit, and then it spread through her boyfriend and her mom, blah blah blah, but nothing serious, And I don't know I don't personally have or know of anybody myself. Well, until today, somebody distant did pass away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I'm understanding, almost everybody's passing away from it is obese, overweight, already had some sort of health issues, respiratory problems, the elderly, stuff like that. The ones that are weak. No different than a flu or a
Yeah,
bad
I mean,
flu
it's
season.
crazy because,
Well-
like, here's the thing. The way they talk about the numbers of people dying from COVID, I don't know a single person who's died from it.
Well, you can't trust the numbers anyway because they've been all over the place. The media's
It's
not
like, I
telling
feel
the
like I would at least know somebody
Well, look
who
at
knows somebody who died from
Yeah.
it, and I don't.
look at Illinois.
No.
Well, no, I'm gonna get to a point here. Illinois, they actually had people in corners signing off on the death certificates because someone had COVID in their system, even though they died from a gunshot or they died from a motorcycle
listed-
Wasn't
accident.
that like U.S. wide? Wasn't I thought?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it was happening.
I
all
didn't
over
think
the
that
place.
was just Illinois. I thought
that
that
was-
was.
No, I'm just saying like look
because they
local,
wanted
like right
that
across
had
the
to do-
river.
because they wanted
because
the COVID
that was
deaths to get
giving
more money.
Yeah, that was giving hospitals a massive boost in funding, wasn't
Yes,
it?
Yeah.
Yes, it's all
It was.
about that.
And not just them.
You
I
died
used
of an
to work.
aneurysm, but we're going to call it COVID. You died of a heart attack, we're going to call it COVID.
You died because you're 98. Guess
You
what?
got hit by a car, COVID.
Yeah, COVID. You died because you're 98. You didn't die from old age. You died from COVID.
Yep.
It's just like what the no, like you died from old age. Like
When they
that's
start dishing out money for that kind of stuff, when you're just giving out free money, so to speak, human nature, greed.
yeah. Now and that's appalling. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And
The mask situation, and thank God Missouri never ever made it a mandate. It's still an unmandated mask situation, but it's a joke. Science, actually, the numbers show that it never did anything to actually slow anything down. A lot of the people in the beginning, 80% of the people that were actually coming down with COVID in the beginning when they reported it, wore masks.
yeah.
Dude, what I can't wait for is to see the spike in respiratory issues because people wear masks that they don't
Exactly.
wash. I can't
They
wait
fucking
for
gave
that.
me a headache.
Well,
I've seen
no-
people with masks that are like stained on the front.
And now they're wanting,
And
they're
I'm
wanting
just
to
like-
double do it now. Overlap. Put 2 masks on.
2 masks, face shield, goggles.
Gotta speak into the mic.
Saw that the other day.
I'm not picking up what you're saying. You gotta there you go. So
So what he's saying is,
So actually, back to the mask thing, there actually is a dramatic increase in gingivitis, and so much so that dentists are actually starting to get overbooked because the masks are not allowing the people's mouths to be open and actually expel that toxic and bacteria that's inside your mouth. Instead of being able to breathe it out, you're rebreathing it, and the gingivitis is actually coming in, and it's actually getting really strong.
Dentists should know they wear masks for a living.
And
They literally do. I mean, every time you're in there now, they have masks on. Before COVID, that's what they all had masks on.
But they had surgical masks, and the surgical masks always get taken off afterwards and then get thrown away. Because that's what it's fucking there for. It's just to stop the large particles.
Well, in the beginning, when this first thing started, you could have yourself a little elastic little scarf with a flag print on it, pull it up over your nose, and that was acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
It did nothing. You could still smell my bad breath through it if you got close enough.
hey, if you can smell a fart, it doesn't work.
Well, anybody that's been in the military knows, who's actually been trained on nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare and given a mask that actually works, knows that if you have a beard on, or if you don't get a seal, you can't get a seal, then a mask is worthless.
Yep.
It defeats the fucking purpose.
And even bigger, you're fucked anyways.
You're fucked.
It doesn't
anyway.
matter. You're prolonging your death.
Yes.
So that's actually all the topics I wanted to talk about.
Have we covered them all?
Yeah. Did you guys have any other topics you guys wanted to talk about?
I had mentioned before before this started that I was going to have one by the time we ended, but come on, Jeremiah, give me one. You got one?
You don't know.
I'm just
All
here
right.
for the ride.
Well, as the beginning, we will be ending here on a somewhat somber note. And the somber note is the fact that we will be continuing on this series of shit talk, but we will not be continuing it on as often as we were. There will be some news breaking out about my position here within the company. It will not be instantaneous. In fact, it will be more than a few months out. However, that means that I will be getting some more responsibilities. And this has always been kind of like a passion project. But in order to continue this on, the passion project must go to the wayside. So this probably still be continuing on, but it's going to be more of a month basis. So once a month, we'll be having these, but most likely we will not be doing like the weekly or bi-weekly that we have been. So sorry if you guys really enjoyed these podcasts or enjoy these recordings, but unfortunately, due to a lot of the scheduling that we have in the future for the business and the expansion of the company, we will not be able to continue it on as much as we have been. So I'm really excited about what's going to be coming down the pipeline, but as of right now, this will have to go kind of to the wayside. And also, just want to give a quick little shout out about something. If you guys see here, there's actually a little scroll thingy here. I found out how to do that. I was really proud of myself. Just want to say, I did that.
Let's scroll.
See
So
how
if
it
you-
looks like a fucking news
Oh,
thing?
Yeah, up top where it's scrolling around, it says thanks for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, do we want to talk about new things that we have on the floor in
Absolutely.
the retail store?
Yeah, no, you want to talk about it? Talk about it.
So
We
as
have
of
a-
late,
okay.
so a very growing trend in the shooting industry coming from groups such as Forward Observation Group or GBRS Group on the gram. They kind of brought to light the importance of having an optic riser higher than a lower 1/3 co-witness. And the biggest one for that is the Unity risers. We have some for the Aimpoint T2 and everything that fits the T2 platform, and ones made generally more towards EOTech. And for anybody who isn't tracking on what those do, is basically it raises your optic to a point where you're not having to crunch your head over. It was originally designed for night vision use because if you have night vision in front of your eyes, it's a huge pain to bend over,
Get into the mic a little
get
bit.
a good sight picture through your optic while bent over, and still do all the things you do with night vision. Because once you add night vision into the picture, your world kind of shrinks. So that is one thing that we're carrying right now. It's a bit of a hot commodity. I think for the EOTech risers, we're starting to run pretty low on them. We are one of the stores in the area that is frequently having ammo. We have a lot of 5.56.
Yes.
Yep.
So we have 55 grain full metal jacket from Winchester.
9 mil.
Yeah, we have 9 mil.
Get your ass in for some 9 mil.
That's hard to come by. So we have MagTech. Was it 124 grain?
Mhm.
Am I right on that one? Yeah. So MagTech 124 grain full metal jacket, which we've actually lowered the price on because originally we had it. What was it $56 a box? We've lowered it to 34 a box. Yes, technical things. Where'd the ammo go? But yeah,
Oh, yeah, no,
we
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
we just bought 2 shelves for the amount of ammo we have. So come in, buy ammo, save it for whenever the world ends, or use it to go train with.
Yeah. As you can guys see here, we actually had like a small little table for all the ammo we have.
Which was breaking.
Yeah, it was breaking. But we actually now have a fairly large little section, including, as you can see on the top left, like little baggies that we actually have that are 1 pound and 1 kilo. Then we also have some reasonably priced MagTech. And then we also are selling boxes of 500, 600, and 1,000 round of 5.56, 7.62, 7.62 by 51
AKA 308.
That too, yeah. Well, I think there is a difference between 308 and 762 by 51. I think it's similar to the 556 where in 223, where there's a slightly pressure. There's a slight and very small difference between the pressuring of the chamber load. But I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not an AR-10 guy. In fact, a lot of the time,
I don't fuck with that world, but I want to say the box is listed also as 308. I could be wrong though. It's been a long day.
yeah.
We just got a bunch of slings in. We were running low on that. We
Yes.
loaded up on slings.
LBX,
We
got
have a lot
huge-
of LBX slings, which run about $30 a pop. We have Blue Force Gear Vickers tactical slings.
yeah.
Yes.
those guys-
those are awesome.
Yeah, they come with no attachments, so it's actually one of the nice things I love about it is the fact that you get no attachments and you actually can set it up the way that you want. You want to use HK clips, you can use HK clips. You want to use QDs, you can run QDs. You want to use something like a Lurch Loops, you can use Lurch Loops. You want to just duct tape it to your fucking gun, you can just duct tape it to your fucking gun. Like I love that about it, that it's so modular because it comes empty. You don't have to try to find this attachment or try to unhook this to do this. It's blank.
The adjustment system for Vickers slings is also awesome. And the ones we have are padded. I know at least in the Marine Corps, I don't know about the other branches, but we were issued the Blue Force Gear Vickers slings, but they didn't have padding on them, which kind of sucked. But the ones we have right now are padded, but have the same adjustment system and like the quick tighten, quick loosen system, which is pretty freaking cool. We also have a metric shitload of plate carriers and a metric shitload of plates. We have lightweights and
Level 4.
level 4 ceramic plates that run about 7 pounds per plate, 7 or 8. That is a little bit heavy, but buying level 4 plates
That's the
and
way
we're
to go.
selling them for roughly $190 per plate.
Yeah.
That is a steal. It's
Yeah.
definitely something to come check out. If you don't know much about plates, come in and ask.
What's that brand? We
was
just
it-
got that moss gray.
This
Moss
is the
Gray,
color?
LBX
Armormus.
Armadas.
Yep.
Yeah.
And for those of you who
I'm just
don't
trying to
know
load it
about
right now.
LBX, there is a very well-known company called London Bridge Training, or LBT. They have a government contract, and so they could not sell their products for lower than what the government was paying for them. So they outsourced to Peru to manufacture them and then relabeled them as LBX. So they changed the letter and then changed where they're being manufactured. So now they can sell the same product for a
less.
lower cost, significantly lower. So that's a very, very good option to look into if you're wanting to get into the plate carrier realm.
And those who know me, I am a LBX fanboy. I actually have an LBX plate carrier. I have 2 different LBX slings, and very, very phenomenal company. I really love a lot of the stuff that they produce.
Honestly, my favorite thing about the LBX and or LBT plate carriers is the way that they're cut. So with me, when it comes to a plate carrier, I could care less about comfort. The biggest thing I care about is how it's cut to where I can shoulder my rifle. And they have a very gradual slope to where the plate carrier itself almost looks like a shooter or a swimmer's cut plate, but it can take whatever cut of plate you put in.
So basically, you're saying it comes in more
It
here?
comes in,
frees up
but
your shoulder
it
for a
very it frees up the shoulder pocket a lot more
There you go.
to
Yeah.
get your buttstock and or pistol brace of your firearm into your shoulder pocket, which is something I am very, very particular about, because if you're mounting your buttstock onto your plate carrier, that's a very unstable shooting platform, and that's just more time that you have to adjust your weapon, and you can't get it locked in and take advantage of every advantage you can get.
Yep.
And that's one thing I really, really appreciate about the LBX and LBT plate carriers.
Yeah.
Scott, does it say the price on there for the Armadas and the
$230.
what was the
That's
other
for
one?
the Armadas.
So the Armadas also has built-in mag pouches and an admin pouch on the upper part of the chest, which the way they did it is also very cool. So normally when it comes to plate carriers, I don't like a single thing on the upper portion of my plate carrier because for me that impedes with how
Getting
fast I
mags.
can draw my magazine and get my gun back in the fight. The way that LBX did their admin pouch is they almost receded it into the plate carrier to where it's not bulging out, so you can still put things like what am I thinking? What's the name of those cards that we got that have all the
Ballistics?
basic medical information?
March cards.
March cards.
Yeah.
So that's going to have your basic information to how to treat massive hemorrhaging,
March
airway,
cards, mats.
respiratory, circulation, head trauma / hypothermia, which is another thing we sell. And they're very inexpensive, and it's a very good piece of kit to have on you because if, God forbid, you have to use it, you're probably going to forget how to do it.
Yeah.
But the way that they integrate that into the plate carrier is very cool because it stays very slimline without impeding your draw of your magazines. So that's something I really like about the London Bridge line of products.
So those of you that know me in real life know that I love quotes. I'm a big quote guy.
To quote Scott, I love quotes.
I love quotes. There's actually a quote that I live by on a daily basis that Albert Einstein said, and it's actually, why remember something when a pen will remember it forever? And this is the exact situation. You don't have to remember something when I got my fucking March card.
Exactly.
And in a do or die, life or death situation, your brain is moving 1,000 miles per hour.
Adrenaline dump like you've never felt before.
And those of like I've never been in that situation except for training, and even then that's like it's a simulation. It's not the real fucking deal. I still have no idea how the fuck I'm gonna react.
Right.
So I'd rather have this just in case, just to be like, I don't remember what it is. Oh, I don't, and be like, oh, I got my March card.
Yeah, Crash, you can probably attest to that, seeing as you have Iraq experience and stuff.
The adrenaline, well, yeah, adrenaline is something that you have to experience it to understand it, but it takes away your fine motor skills, your critical thinking skills, thinking under pressure. It slows things down. So yeah, you have to experience it to understand it, but definitely a March card like that can help out without a doubt.
Yeah, there's things like that.
We used to write the 9-line down on the windshields with grease pencils because we knew that when the shit hit the fan and we had a casualty, that we're not necessarily going to be thinking straight, being able to remember everything that we've done. So we'd write it down on the windshield so we could get in where the radio was in a Humvee and read it off exactly the way it was supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
March cards just like that.
There's things that, like, when it comes to fine motor skills, you can train yourself to where it's not an issue, like reload drills. I've trained those enough to where I'm very confident that if I was in a very, very shitty situation, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Take over.
But there's things like, March, when it comes to your memory, like, let's say you're getting shot at, you're thinking of a million different things. So if you can do something as simple as write massive hemorrhaging, airway, respiratory, circulation, head trauma, and hypothermia, why not do it?
Do it.
Take advantage of what you can take advantage of.
Mm-hmm. And we sell them for a reasonably price. Guess what? They're 99 cents, and we have them in store right now.
And even if 99 cents is too much for you, that's a very good thing that you can simply write down on a piece of paper and tape over to keep on you and just keep it in your kit somewhere. Like, this is very bad salesman move, but that's one of those things where it's very important to have on you, whether you can spend the $1.03 after tax or not.
I hope you never need it, but you better have it if you do.
Exactly. Another hot commodity that we have is complete BCM uppers. The fact that we have them should make everybody's pants a little bit tight.
Those of you that don't know who BCM,
Bravo Company Manufacturing.
they're great.
Pat McNamara, Travis Haley, Larry Vickers, Taryn Butler. Just to name a few of the extremely experienced shooters who are endorsed by Bravo Company.
Do you mean Mr. Precious?
What?
Darren Butler and his situation
Yeah,
with
okay.
Jade
He's
and-
a good shooter, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into that. John Wick.
I'll give you that.
John
I'll give you.
Wick.
Yeah, no.
The John Wick?
Yeah, yeah. Mr.
Baba Yaga.
Keanu Reeves himself trained at Terran Tactical.
No shit.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. that's-
Enjoyed every one of those movies, though.
So all of the...
Well, I mean, it was obvious that he had somebody that was consulting him that really knew.
So all the
about
weapons that
roads.
he used, aside from his HKs in the first film, were the Terran Tactical renditions of those firearms. So he had a BCM 6. No, it was an SBR that had a
So I remember he
Trigicon
did.
Acupoint and an offset RMR.
Yeah.
He had a Glock 34 that had the whole Terran Tactical works on it. He had a Terran Tactical 2011 on the...
What was that 12 gauge you used?
That was a Benelli
Benelli
M4
M4.
with the Terran Tactical.
Yeah. No, he's making plenty of money because right now a lot of guys are wanting to get that Terran Tactical John Wick, and you can actually send your gun to Terran Tactical, and then they actually outfit it just like it was in the movies, and they send it back to you.
Like, what are they selling that for?
I don't.
You don't wanna know.
Yeah, I don't. I don't want to know. I want to know, but I don't want to know because if it's within budget friendly, I'm fucking doing it.
It's just money. You're going to make more of it.
Who doesn't want to say I have John Wick's gun? Because it's like one of those things. Like you just like I got it. You don't. Fuck you.
But yeah, we do have complete BCM uppers in our inventory right now. I don't believe we have too many left. So
We've got a decent inventory or selection of handguards right now. Our rails.
Yes. We
those
gotta-
SLR lightweight ones,
V7s?
or not V,
No,
not
V7.
SLR V7s.
That hyper light?
I thought they were a toy.
Yeah, that stuff is stupid.
If you're building out like
What
a
does Ben say?
competition gun,
Space magic.
that's my no.
Well, that's you?
That's my thing.
Oh, okay.
It's space metal.
it's space metal.
Space metal. That's what it was.
So I'm trying to remember. JP actually released a ultra lightweight bulk carrier, and the ultra lightweight bulk carrier is actually made from aircraft aluminum, but it's only rated for like 7,000 rounds.
I was going to say, it's going to take a beating.
Yeah,
That sounds very competition-y.
it is. But whenever you're running it, that thing's run so fast that you can fine tune the fuck out of it. And
That's
you can
pretty
find
sweet.
that perfect razor's edge and just run it. As JP put it in their competition rifle that they gave to Grantham when he did his review, and he had nothing but positive reviews about it. He was just like, everything was positive about that rifle.
So there are certain companies where I will blindly use anything that they put out because their reputation is so good, and JP is very quickly making their way up on that list.
Quickly?
Well, I'd never even heard of them until I worked here.
Really?
Yeah.
I had neither.
Man.
Neither.
And then after I used the silent capture, I looked more into them, and now they're making their way up there pretty quick.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a guy on Instagram where he was, I did a review about a shotgun, and then I did a review about a buffer system, and then he responded to the review I had, and I was just like, oh, hey, like, no, like, don't get me wrong. Like, what was great, but the thing is, Cobalt is great, but JP is also great. We can't say apples and oranges. They both have a different thing they're looking for. But I can't agree that if that Cobalt had a JP silent capture in it, I would fall in love with that Cobalt so much faster.
I put a armor spec self-contained buffer spring system into my AR because I wanted to quiet down a little bit. Didn't want to be patient enough to wait for a JP because I know after hearing Ben's and how quiet his is, I'm like, oh, I want one of those, but I'm not patient enough. So I put one in anyway, an armor spec, and I cycled a few times. I'm like, yeah, not a whole lot of difference.
Still a
It's
step
different.
up above a
It's a step
standard
up. It's a step up
buffer
for
and
sure.
buffer
It's
spring,
definitely a
but
step up. but
JP is on top
it
of their
wasn't
game right now.
trying to compare that to hearing Ben's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
wait.
So I put a JP silent capture system in my 14.5 inch. Got very used to that, and then I built a pistol with the Maxim brace on it. And now I can hear the tungsten weight in the buffer when I move it, and I hate it so much. But JP makes a proprietary silent capture system for that
pistols?
brace. For that brace.
Yeah, that Maxim.
That's a very new thing for that generation of the brace.
Maxim PDX or Maxim PDW?
PDX, I want to say.
Okay. Yeah, no,
I want to say it's the PDX CQB brace,
I heard about
which we
that.
have in stock and are freaking awesome.
Yeah. I heard about that from one of our regulars that he's a security consultant, and he was just like, oh, man, I love it. I love the silent capture, but I've been trying to get this. Can you guys order this for me? I'm just like,
We can, but
JP made this? And I had to look it up, and I'm just like, holy shit, JP does make this. And I actually own something that's slightly smaller, and I'm just like, well, if they did that, I wonder if they can go like a centimeter shorter and do the bootleg and see if they can make one for the bootleg. And I'm like sitting there like, are they going to do it? Do it. That's what I want. I want them to do it. I want them to do it so bad. Because if I can get a bootleg, which is actually shorter than that Maxim PDX, or Maxim PDW, whichever one, I'm sorry. It's shorter than that, but it actually can maintain and sustain fire. Man, that thing would be great. So, JP, please get on that. Please. Anyways, back to the point at hand. You guys go on about, one other thing that we actually been selling a lot of. We've had a lot of people come in and asking about it. It's another V7, and the V7 that we have is their ambidextrous safety selector. Their ambidextrous safety selector is also really cool because it's convertible from a full 90-degree throw to a short throw, which is a 57-degree. So you can actually select if you want the detent to be on the 90-degree side. If you don't want it, then you can actually flip it around to the opposite side, and now you can make it a short throw. I like to have a short throw on my AR systems so that I can get in and out of safe faster. So
When did we get these? Because
about a week ago.
yeah, they've been
Week and a half.
They're on the floor.
are
They're
they
in a really small box.
Yeah.
in a box.
Very, very, very
It's
small
on
box.
the trigger rack and like middle height right side.
Okay,
No,
I like that.
yeah, V7
It's
has
sharp.
done a really, really good job with their
Skeleton
stuff.
eyes.
Yes. Now that Crash is back, we did want to go over one other thing that we have here. We actually got a restock from Olight, and we actually got these guys. This is the Olight Baldur Mini. This actually comes in FDE and black. What's great about it is it's rechargeable, and that little blue thing there is a magnet recharger, and that black little dot there is a laser, and that is the actual light. It's 600 lumens. Phenomenal light for a pistol.
One thing I want to touch on with lumens, everybody thinks that, it has under 1,000 lumens, so why would I buy it? What is the general engaging distance of a pistol, Scott?
Isn't it like 5 yards?
7 yards.
5 to 10 yards.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm thinking like the average civilian engagements for pistols.
right. So you have that, and what would you say is the primary purpose of people buying a pistol with a light on it?
Pistol with a light or a pistol with a laser?
Both.
Pistol with a light, guys that actually understand what the fuck they're doing.
General populace.
General populace,
Home defense.
they think it looks cool.
Okay. Home defense is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So if you're inside your house, you have these things called walls. And light, believe it or not, reflects off of walls. So you have something that's 1,000 lumens from between 5 to 10 yards. That's a bit of a problem. That's going to start obscuring your side picture to an extent. So on things like pistol lights where you don't need to be reaching out to 1,000, no, 100 yards.
100 meters. Because I
100
think,
yards, meters, same thing. You don't need a light that's capable of reaching out to 100 yards or meters, whatever your preference is for measuring. Same thing, basically. You don't need 1,000 lumens on a pistol light. Your general engaging distance is 5 to 10 meters. You need a light to see your target at 5 to 10 meters without obscuring your sight picture, which is very well under 1,000 lumens. So that's something that needs to be taken into consideration when purchasing a weapon light.
no, I fully agree with that. I just put on the Olight Odin, which is the Olight's AR Picatinny mounted system on my AR.
That thing's bright.
Because it's 2,000 lumens.
Yes.
I can't practice CQB work in my basement.
Too freaking bright.
Yeah, it is.
So you have to think about if you're in a situation where you're using a light and you have a red dot, your red dot is going to be dim because if you have your, like going on an average 1 to 10 setting on red light or red dot brightness, you're probably going to have it on like a 3 or a 4 if you're in a situation where you need a light. You turn that light on, you can't see your dot.
Can't see shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's done. It's drowned out.
So what good is your weapon if you can't aim with it?
Yep.
So everybody who thinks, oh, well, I need this surefire, blah, 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 blow me light that's just ultra bright, bring it down a little bit. Think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that those 1,000 to 2,000 lights, those are for if you need to identify a target 100 meters plus. Those lights have the capability of reaching out that far to where you can engage them because you can't shoot what you can't see. But you also can't shoot what you can't aim at because you just flooded out your red dot.
I do like how in that particular light from Olight, how they put the laser beam coming out from basically within the lens of the light itself instead of it being another protruding part to the side of it. So you can't even tell by looking at that that's even got a laser even built into it. So I like that.
Yeah. I'm not a big
I'm
proponent.
not a big proponent of lasers myself, but
Yeah.
I like the design.
Yeah.
Lasers are a weird thing to get into. Their main purpose is if you're using night
Give
vision.
your position away.
Yeah, that. Those are big facts right there. Yeah. So for anybody listening, lasers, the best use for them is if you're using night vision. That is the easiest way to aim from 100 to 200-ish meters. After that, you're getting kind of spotty. It's doable, but it's weird. And it's really hard to get into, and then you have to start
IR lasers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And you'd be using an infrared laser for that.
And you're not giving up your position.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else has nods, then
In these days.
but
anyway.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's
But,
not
like-
a lot of guys that do have nods too.
Not really.
But yeah, lasers after that, it starts getting into a weird territory because you have where the bullet's going, and then a laser on a rifle is generally going to be offset, and it crosses at a certain point, and then it's not going to be accurate after that point, blah, blah, blah. But that's the primary use for lasers. Anything outside of that, they're pretty useless. I've heard some people say they're for intimidation. That's stupid. So is fire 2 blasts from your shotgun outside the house.
Because you want to talk about what fucking happens is gravity. That round goes up and goes back down. Guess where it's going to go?
Somewhere where you're going to get sued for damaging property.
Yes. And that's in a wilderness environment. There's fucking people that do that in the city.
Exactly.
Because guess what? There's going to be a fucking idiot that said, I saw the president. He said he should do that.
Yeah,
no.
president told me to, so it's okay.
I've seen weddings in the Middle East where in the celebration they
Dude, I've seen
shot a
videos of
shit
that.
ton
And it's
them
so
up in the
funny.
air. He's like, okay, I think I'll vacate this area now.
I don't mind watching videos of that because I'm safe.
Exactly.
Because it's after the fact. Even then, I'm not safe because I'm just like, how far away do they live from me? Are they going to do it again?
Not a movement I can get behind.
No. Yeah. There's a reason why one of the rules is know what you're firing into and what is behind it.
What's beyond?
Yep. Yeah. Invest in good night sights. If you own a Glock, get rid of the sights immediately.
Absolutely.
Get some Trigicons or Ameriglos or what's the other one? XD something?
True Glows,
True Glow,
Trigicons,
Ameriglow, Trigicon.
ETCs is one of the brands that we carry. They do professional ones, but they actually have a really cool one where they do 135, 140, and 115 degree separation between the rear sight. So that it actually, the smaller picture that you have is for the longer distances. And then you can go to like the 140 and it's actually a slightly larger window so that you can get a quicker picture, but it also decrease on accuracy. But the way that it's beveled on the rear sight is it's not straight up and down. It's actually slightly curved like this so that if you do need to do one-handed manipulations off of your belt or your pants, it'll actually grab onto it so that you can do a one-handed manipulation to rack the round or do like some field malfunctions. So they're
Night
really good.
sights are an infinitely better investment than getting a laser, just for the durability.
Can't
Because
malfunction.
it's not
Especially
it's not gonna come off.
Yeah.
You don't
If
have to
put
worry about
on
it
there,
breaking.
right?
Like you don't have to worry about it breaking like standard Glock sights because God knows why they still put plastic sights on their guns.
It's because they know that you're going to replace them.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point, but for those who don't know, you need to change them.
Yeah.
That's also one of the reasons why Glocks are so affordable. Were so affordable. Past tense, pre-COVID.
So the last thing we're going to be getting into is actually goodbyes. I would like to say thank you to all you shitheads here following the show. It has been great. Hopefully I will be around for episode 11. If not, whoever's going to be running it, I know they're going to be a great job. Any questions, comments, concerns, please send them in. We're always more than happy to actually talk to you guys. Not only that, but we have actually officially have a Spotify account now. We have a SoundCloud. We have a iHeartRadio. Also have an iTunes / Apple Music, Android, and we are also on YouTube. And so if you guys, you need to, did I say iHeartRadio?
You did.
Okay, yeah.
That's still a thing.
Yeah, we now have an iHeartRadio for podcast. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, wherever you're watching it, be more than happy to keep at it. But if not, follow one of our Instagram accounts, TacticalSH_T, TacticalSHT_STL_Orlando, Red, White, and Ben, Sig_Glockencolt, who is TJ, the owner of the company. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them to any one of us. we're always more than happy to actually respond. And if you have any questions, comments, or even you want to have talking points because you say, hey, I found this, but no one's talking about it, you guys should talk about it. Send a message. Make sure you add in saying, hey, I want this to be talked about during the next shit talk. I'll be more than happy to review over it and actually do some personal research and see what I can do to talk about it. So other than that, it's been great talking with you guys. On behalf of everyone here at TacticalSht, Crash.
Hey, I had a good time here doing it for the first time. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem.
And looking forward to it. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Jeremiah?
Later.
All right. See you guys.